Hey everyone. Welcome back to story time. And this time we are going to get into chapter 5 of The Strangest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. And if this is your first time tuning in, don't mind my dog. This is the first time that you're tuning in. Please go ahead, go to my channel, and there I would have linked from prologue all the way to this chapter 5. And if you could greatly do me a favor of liking this video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Now, if you want, go ahead, get a snack, get a drink, and sit back and relax as you listen to me read chapter 5. I didn't remember falling asleep, only waking. Of course I did. My body was shaking so hard that I rolled right out of bed and hit my face against the next bunk over. Vanessa must have jumped out of her skin with the sudden bang and movement of her bed, because I heard her say, "What the hell? Ruby? Is that you?" I couldn't get up. I felt her hands on my face and registered she was now screaming my name, not just whispering it. "Oh my God," someone said. It sounded like Sam, but I couldn't open my eyes. "Emergency button." Ashley's weight settled over my legs. I knew it was her, even as my brain came in and out of consciousness, and a white, hot light was burning behind my eyelids. Someone shoved something in my mouth, rubber and hard. I could taste blood, but I wasn't sure if it had come from my tongue or my lips, or two pairs of hands lifted me from the ground, dropping me on some other surface. I still couldn't open my eyes. My chest was on fire. I couldn't stop shaking, and my limbs felt like they were caving in on themselves. And then I smelled rosemary. I felt soft, cool hands pressing against my chest, and then nothing at all. Life came back to me in the form of a hard slap across the face. "Ruby," someone said. "Come on. I know you can hear me. You have to wake up." I cracked my eyes open, trying not to cringe as the light flooded in. A door opened and creaked somewhere nearby. "Is that her?" a new voice asked. "Are you going to sedate her?" "No, not this one," the first voice returned. I knew that voice. It was as sweet as it had been before, only this time it had a sharper edge. Dr. Begbie's hands came up beneath my arms and propped me up. "She's tough. She can handle it." Something smelled horrible, acidic and rotten all at once. My eyes flew open. Dr. Begbie was kneeling beside me, waving something beneath my nose. "What?" The voice that I had heard before, belonging to the other person. I saw now it belonged to a young woman. She had dark brown hair and pale skin, but that was all that was remarkable about her. Not realizing I was watching her, she stripped her blue scrubs off and threw them at Dr. Begbie. I didn't know where we were. The room was small, filled with shelves of bottles and boxes, and I couldn't smell anything besides whatever it was Dr. Begbie had used to wake me. "Put these on," Dr. Begbie said, pulling me to my feet, whether my legs were ready or not. "Come on, Ruby. We've got to hurry." My body felt heavy, cracking at all my joints, but I did as I was told and pulled the scrubs over my uniform. While I was dressing, the other woman put her hands beneath her back and waited as Dr. Begbie wrapped them together with thick silver duct tape. That finished. The doctor moved to tying the other woman's feet together. "You're meeting them in Harvey. Make sure you take Route 215. I know, Dr. Begbie said, as she chewed off another piece of tape and placed it over the woman's mouth. "Good luck." "What are you doing?" I asked. My throat was scratchy, and the skin around my mouth seemed to crack as I spoke. The doctor pulled my hair back, twisting it up into a messy bun that she secured with a rubber band. The other woman watched as her ID tags were dropped over my neck and Dr. Begbie put a surgical mask over my face. "I'll explain everything once we're out, but we can't waste time. They'll be doing rounds in 20 minutes. She said. "You can't say anything, understand? Play along." I nodded and let her push me outside the dark room and into the dim hallway of the infirmary. Once again, my legs seemed to be failing me, but the doctor took it all in stride. She looped one of my arms over her shoulder and supported most of my weight. "We're moving," she muttered. "Return the cameras to their normal feed." I looked over, but she wasn't talking to me. She was whispering to her gold swan pin. Not a word. She reminded me as we turned down another long hallway. We were moving so fast that we rustled the white curtains of the examination stalls as we passed them. The PSFs were black blurs as they stepped out of our way. Sorry, Dr. Begbie called after us. "I've got to get this one home." I kept my eyes on the straight lines of tile passing under my feet. My head was still spinning so badly that I didn't realize we were heading outside until I heard the beep of the doctor's card passing through the lock swipe and felt the first drops of cool rain hit my scalp. They kept the camp's enormous stadium lights on at all hours of the night. The lights stood like giants across the camp, but all they reminded me of were night football games, the smell of fresh-cut grass, and the back of my dad's red Spartan sweater as he yelled for his old high school teams to run some damn offense at the top of his lungs. It was a short walk and stumble from the back of the infirmary to the pebbled parking lot. I actually wasn't sure if I was hallucinating or not. My sight went in and out of focus, but it was impossible to miss the sound of crunching gravel and the voice that yelled, "Everything okay over there?" I felt, rather than saw, Dr. Begbie's tense up. I tried to keep moving, to use her shoulder to prop myself, but my legs just weren't working anymore. When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting up, staring at the standard issue boots of a PSF soldier. He knelt down in front of me. Dr. Bagby was saying something to him, her voice as calm as the first time I had spoken to her. So sick, I offered to drive her home. I put the mask on her to make sure she didn't give the bug to anyone else. The soldier's voice became clearer. I hate that we always get sick from these kids. Would you mind helping me walk her over to my Jeep? Dr. Bigby asked. If she's sick. It'll just take a minute, the doctor interrupted. And I promise that if you have so much as even the sniffles tomorrow, I'll nurse you back to health myself. That was the voice I recognized. So sweet, it sounded like little bells. The soldier chuckled, but I felt him lift me up all the same. I tried not to lean against him, to grip my teeth against the jarring motion, but I could barely keep my head from rolling back. Front seat? He asked. Dr. Bagby was about to respond when the PSF's radio crackled to life. Control has you on camera. Do you need assistance? He waited until Dr. Bagby had opened the front passenger side door, and he set me down on the seat before replying. Everything clear, doctor. He took my tags in hand, lifting them off my chest. Dr. Rogers has the virus that's been going around. Dr. Bagby, came the quick reply. She slid into the driver's seat and slammed the door shut behind her. I glanced over, watching as she fumbled to get the keys in the ignition. It was the first time I noticed her hands shaking. Dr. Bagby is driving her home for the night. Dr. Rogers' car will be here overnight. Please inform the morning guards when they do their tally. Roger that. Tell them to head straight for the gate. I'll notify the watch patrol to wave them through. The Jeep sputtered to life. In a series of grinding protests, I looked out through the windshield to the electric fence, the dark, familiar forest behind it. Dr. Bagby reached over to fasten my seatbelt. Man, she's out of it. The PSF was back, leaning against Dr. Bagby's window. I did give her pretty strong stuff back there. Dr. Bagby laughed. I felt my chest clench. So about tomorrow. Come by and say hello, okay? Dr. Bagby said. I have a break around 3. She didn't give him a chance to reply. The tires spun against the gravel, and the windshield wipers squeaked to life. Dr. Bagby rolled up her window with a friendly wave, using her other hand to steer the car back and pull out of the parking space. The little green numbers on the dashboard read 2:45 a.m. Try to cover your face as much as possible, she muttered, before flicking on the radio. I didn't recognize the song, but I recognized David Gilmour's voice and the ebb and flow of Pink Floyd's synthesizers. She returned the volume down, taking a deep breath as she turned out of the lot. Her fingers tapped out a nervous rhythm on the steering wheel. Come on, she whispered, glancing down at the clock again. There was a line of 2 cars in front of us. Each waved forward with agonizing slowness. I thought she was going to crawl out of her skin by the time the last car pulled forward into the night. Dr. Begbie hit the gas too hard and the Jeep lurched forward. The seatbelt snapped into the lock position and then she slammed on the brakes, knocking the air out of my chest. She rolled the window down, but I was too tired to be afraid. I pressed my hand over my eyes and sucked in a deep breath. The surgical mask brushed against my lips. I'm taking Dr. Rogers home. Let me just get her passes. It's fine. I have you on the schedule for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Is that correct? Yes, thank you. Please indicate Dr. Rogers will not be in. Understood. I was too tired to try to control my brain's wandering fingers when Dr. Begbie touched me again, brushing the hair out of my face. An image bloomed to life behind my eyes. A dark-haired man smiling broadly with his arms around Dr. Begbie, spinning her and spinning her and spinning her until I could hear her delighted laughter in my ears. Kate cracked our windows, and the air rushing by brought in the scent of rain and carried me quickly into sleep. And that, my dear friends, is the end of chapter 5. Tune in next time for chapter 6. And as always, have a good day.